Hey everyone, welcome to UGA Sports Live. My name is Rodney DeBulsey. I'm joined by Jim Donnan, the former Georgia Bulldogs head coach, a member of the College Football Hall of Fame, and the number one reason you're tuning in on a Tuesday at 12:05 to talk Georgia football. We have a little kind of a different show for you today. It's going to be our last show for a while. We're going to take a little break because next Tuesday I will be at the Rivals 5-Star Challenge in Indianapolis. The nation's best players are going to be at the Indianapolis Colts facility going head-to-head. There'll be some definitely Georgia targets there. There will be some Georgia commits there as well. And we will have updates and video and stuff coming from Indianapolis next Tuesday when the kids go head-to-head. So it's going to be a big event.
So you going there to get the shrimp cocktail, or what's the deal?
Come on, you can't rat me out in the first 2 minutes of the show. Yes. So I will take a contingent of UGA sports guys, drop them off at the stadium, and then I will head over to St. Elmo's to get the shrimp cocktail.
Hey, you got to do it, man.
Hey, somebody's got to be the boss, coach. I mean,
right.
What you going to do? The following Tuesday is July 1st. And that's going to be very interesting because that is the day that Rivals and On3 join together. On3 is a big powerhouse in the industry. Rivals is the biggest recruiting site in the industry. Goes back, 1997? So we're almost on our 30-year anniversary that Rivals has been around. And if you are a Rivals member or you are an On3 member, you're going to get both sites for the same cost. So if you have an On3 membership, you'll be able to read the DawgVent. You'll be able to comment over there. If you have a DawgVent membership, you'll be able to read Dogs HQ with Rusty and Jake and those guys and be able to comment on their stuff. So it's going to be a very big bonus, if you will, for anybody who's currently a member. You get to basically buy one, get one free on sites. So
that's good. I thought that I read, which I can't read anymore, but I thought that you would be able to get the sites around the country On3 has, but you won't be able to get the one that they have for Georgia.
You're right, Coach. That's exactly how it started out. Was Shannon Terry, who owns both now, didn't want to hurt either site by saying, look, if you can do that if you can read everything, then people, because a lot of people have subscriptions to both sites. And I said, look, if they want to, I'm not worried about us losing subscribers because I know people aren't going to cancel our site. And if they've got two, let's let them drop one. So he was worried about people dropping a lot of them, but then he asked me and he asked Rusty, would you guys be okay if they could read and post on both sites? And we both said, yeah. So we went from you would be able to read every site in the nation except the competing sites to now you can read everything. So the Georgia fans got it made. That's
yeah. Hey, well, that's good news for everybody. I mean, I'm glad for you. Whatever it takes.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's a good thing because we get Wilt Fong and Chad Simmons and guys like that will now be on the recruit. They'll be on the Rivals side. So Rivals will be the national Rivals side will be doing national recruiting. The On3 guys will be doing college football. Like, Coach, I don't know if you saw this, but they were that podcast, that Bussin podcast was talking to Pavia of Vanderbilt. He said an SEC team was reaching out to his brothers, his family, and one SEC team offered him between $4 and $4.5 million to transfer.
Well, I'm not going to accuse him of anything except being who he is, but I don't know anybody in the SEC that maybe I could think of maybe one or two, but his style to me is conducive to what they do at Vanderbilt. I think you would have to. I mean, maybe they did offer him. I don't know. Hey, in today's world, you can say anything, and who cares? I mean,
that's yeah. How can you prove it wrong?
I mean, the guy would be glad he's getting to play another year. I mean, he's been playing a lot of football. I'm glad he is. I mean, I'm a big proponent of him. I think he's a winner and all that. But I just think leave that stuff unsaid. I mean, it's just.
Oh, I agree with you. That was but a story like that would be covered by the On3 national team, whereas Desmond Green announcing soon. Malachi tackle is announcing soon. That's when we'll have Wilt Fong and Chad Simmons and Jed May and John Garcia and Sam Spiegelman, all those guys covering recruiting on the rival side. So the combination is going to be.
So if the story is written by Jake Roos about recruiting, I can read it on on your thing.
Well, because we'll be on the On3 platform, it'll still be UGASports and DawgVent and all that. You'll just be able to click to their site, just like you would go to the North Carolina site or the Oklahoma site or the Tennessee site. And the good news is some of our old friends are on the On3 network. So the best Tennessee site is there, the best South Carolina site is there. So I get to go back and argue with Brent Hubbs again, and Shoemaker in South Carolina.
Let me know when you want me to click on one, because I never have on anybody else's site as far as reading about these other schools. I don't really care, really. But.
I know. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But today, Coach, I'm going to pester you a lot about some of the hot topics on the DawgVent. The DawgVent's been around forever. And it's the granddaddy of them all. That's where everybody goes. It's the one thing that it's organic. You can't buy it. I tried to create, Coach, when I went to ESPN, I created a new message board at dognation.com. It took me and David Ching and Kip Adams forever to get traction on that. It is hard to create a message board from scratch. We never got it even close to what the DawgVent is. And the reason why is the DawgVent's organic. And we're going to talk about some of the, I don't call them silly topics, but some of the other topics going on the DawgVent today. Because some of these things are 4 or 5 pages long.
Well, and people believe in it. I mean, you've done a good job with it. And I know some of my friends live and die with it. They can't wait to read it.
All right. So, our Patrick Garvin, he's a great historian. He's written, I think, 11 different books about Georgia football. The guy is a wealth of knowledge. We can ask him anything, and he has it in just a couple of minutes. He has his own databases that he's built over the years. And he did a catching up with interview with John Brantley, the great Georgia linebacker, tough guy, one of the best out there. And that got Patrick Garvin to thinking, who do you think would make Georgia's all-time tough guy, tough as nails team? So, I gave some of my – I thought about Sean Williams, breaking the Florida guy's arm. Dan Inman, was tough. Haley was tough. But, Coach, you coached them. You've been around the program longer than anybody.
Coached anybody in the other programs as far as the time and things like that. But 2 guys come to mind for me. First guy's Kendrell Bell. I mean, if anybody's tougher than him or can just destroy you quicker, it would be Jalen Carter. So those would be the 2 toughest guys that I think. Without any, I mean, you get a Mount Rushmore, you can do anything else, but anybody can prove to me that they're tougher than those 2 guys, then, you'd be Perry Mason. You'd do a good job, because I'm just telling you now, we had guys that wouldn't even get in the line knowing that they had to go up against Kendrell in an individual drill. They'd be closing, shuffling around and all that, know that you're the next guy and you're going to be going against him. And, the guy literally, first play he ever played for Georgia, went down and dove through the kickoff return group that was trying the wedge. He went right through the wedge, right over the top of it, like a flying missile. And he did stuff like that in practice all the time. And you know how people just kind of look around and say, this guy. And then, of course, Jalen, you saw him pick the guy up.
Juan Daniels.
And you just had to really control him in practice, because he wasn't a vicious guy or anything. He just could destroy you. He literally can knock people back. He's doing it in the pros. So I'm anxious to hear some other people, because I'm not the final verdict on that. But anybody that's strong, tougher than those 2, I'd like to know.
Like Kevin Tolbert, who's been a fan of our site and a supporter of our site in multiple ways for years. He says, can you really pick the toughest player when Eric Russell is your defensive coordinator?
You talking about Eric Russell?
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Eric. When Eric's got his head all bloodied up, you know. And
Irk definitely has his place in Georgia folklore for a lot of things he did. Tremendous coach, tremendous player, and just overall great guy.
There's a tie into this. Now, I'm going to ask you another question about it outside of Georgia, because you coached at Marshall, you had Oklahoma as well. You've been different NC State, all over the place. I'll ask you about that, but I want to mention a guy who I thought was tough was Bryce Hunter. And one of my early, I guess you call it a viral photograph, coach, is, you know, some of the photographs I've taken over the years while I was working for the University of Georgia, David Pollock's strip sack in the end zone, Veron Haynes's touchdown catch at Tennessee. But one of my best friends, his favorite picture is a photo of Bryce Hunter when he got his helmet knocked off. The helmet's floating in the air. He's still running the ball. He has a look on his face like, I don't give a damn that my helmet's been knocked off. I'm going to knock you out. There's his head. That was a tough guy. And his son is now a defensive analyst at the University of Georgia.
Yeah, you know, he came here and things didn't work out, and he ended up transferring, I think, to Western Kentucky and did pretty well up there. And I think last year, he was a assistant for Dell McGee over at Georgia State. And, you know, Kirby likes the family situation. Of course, you got to be able to produce and all, but it'll be good for Jaden to come over here, and I'm happy for him.
Jade Hunter, great kid. I like him a lot. We got one vote here from Larry Hogue saying Ben Zambezi. Very fair. And
good linebacker.
Greg Blue, coach.
Oh, Greg would stone you. I remember being over there in the hallway with him, recruiting him, and kids walking down the hall. I mean, he was. I mean, I don't know that they were afraid of him, but it was just a lot of respect. It's the first thing you remember about it, you know. I mean, a good kid, but he could stone you. There's a lot of them. I mean, really. I mean, over the years, there's got, you know, it's hard to just say somebody's the toughest guy, but
we'll change it.
It's just as far as striking fear, not only in your opponents but your other teammates. I've never seen two guys like Kendrell Bell and Jalen Carter, just like, you know, and our guys are tough. They want to go out there and compete and all, but hey, coach, I don't need to prove how tough I am going against Jalen or against Kendrell. I mean, he just makes me happy that I was able to see those guys in action.
It's funny you say that. I remember going back to high school. We had a guy named Chris Ingalls. He's the athletic director, I think, at Lake Oconee. He's a good dude. I remember when anytime we're doing like an Oklahoma drill or any sort of hitting drill, the shuffling on the other side. No, it's your turn. No, it's your turn.
Yeah.
I just went, you know, like you were saying, that the kind of guys moving back and forth in the line, pushing other guys forward, everyone taking a step back and volunteering somebody to go up against them. Yeah. I've heard that about Kendrell. Also heard that about Odell Thurman.
Oh yeah. He was, but you know, one of the things I used to tell my coaches, I said, you know, a lot of times the offensive coach will get overbearing and he doesn't, the one-on-one drill, he doesn't block, and they'll say, let's go again. And then the guy that's against him who just whipped his ass, he's on defense, and the defensive coach doesn't substitute and puts another guy in, you know, or another guy in. He just leaves that guy. So he has to go 2 reps, even though he did a good job. But I told our coaches, if you get mad at somebody because they can't jack Kendrell Bell up, do not ask for another rep. Do not. And as far as that's concerned, defensive coach is okay with me if you don't let him do one individual drill. Just let him stay over on the sideline. And, you know, it's just – I can't emphasize of all the things I've ever said on this program, and I've said a lot of things that aren't real good, but I've never seen anybody that completely annihilated you. I mean, just destroyed you as a football player like Kendrill Bell. And I tell this story occasionally, but we were recruiting, and I was going to the Auburn game, the game where Champ played 100 some place.
Oh yeah.
And Rodney Garner had just gone down to, check out some junior colleges just because we really didn't need any, but we always tried to look in case. And he called me and said, hey, there's a linebacker down here. I said, don't tell me about a linebacker. We got all these guys. I mean, we had Boss Bailey, Tony Gilbert, all those guys. I mean, really good linebacker. He said, Coach, I'm telling you, this guy, I mean, you got to take him. I mean, I'm just going to stand up on a table. I've never seen any guy like this. So I said, okay. So he sent me the tape, and I looked at it. And I said, let's go for him. And then the coach down there said, hey, Coach, will you come speak at our banquet? I said, what time and when do you need me there? I'll be there. I mean, I made a commitment. And I'd never met Kendrill at that point. He hadn't even business or anything. But I went down there and gave him a good speech. But I was holding as close as I could to holding Kendrill's hand and telling him, I said, look, I told him, I said, you can't miss a player. You're going to come in here and play right away. He did the same thing in the pros. And unfortunately, his son's going, well, fortunately for them, his son's going to Arkansas, but, it's just kind of in between size and everything. But good player. I wish he'd have come here, but it just didn't work out for us. But that's enough about that. What's the next thing?
That was a good one. Give me somebody real quick at Oklahoma. You coached some legends.
Well, first of all, I was going to talk about when I was playing. There was a guy at Duke named Mike Curtis that was a NFL linebacker for all those years for the Baltimore Colts, and he was everything at ACC All-American for Duke, and he played linebacker over there, and he was unbelievable. And they say some of my buddies that went to school over there say the same thing about drills that nobody wanted to go against. They called him Iron Mike. And, he was he was an unbelievable player. And then there was a guy at North Carolina A&T that played for the Houston Oilers. His name was Bethea, Bethea. And for some reason, they had a North Carolina All-Star game before the bowl games my senior year to raise some money for something. I don't remember what it was, but similar to the Shrine Bowl, helping the Shriners, but it was a North Carolina. So they had North Carolina and North Carolina State were on one team, and then all the other schools, smaller schools, were on it. And then Duke and Wake Forest were on the other. And on the other team playing nose guard was this Bethea guy. And, most of us in the game were just cruising along. We didn't want – we're just trying to get ready for a bowl game and all that. But my coach was a proponent of this because he wanted to help the Shriners. So I'll play, and I kept telling the center – I didn't have my normal center. I kept telling the center, and we weren't using any shotgun. I said, you got to at least slow this guy down. He's killing me. And the other quarterback was – from North Carolina, Jeff Beaver, and I told Jeff, I said, hey, if you want to go in a couple extra series sharper than me, I mean, good Lord. You can look him up. I mean, he made All-Pro, and he was easily one of the toughest players I ever played against. And then Bubba Smith was just a killer.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
And they had good linebackers, too, but, Bubba Smith indoctrinated me up there and just destroyed me. Our center was so afraid of him. It was because our first team center got hurt, and the second team guy was pissing down his pants the whole game.
Kind of reminds me of that Florida center looking at Jordan Davis.
Oh yeah, he knew. We told the story on our first year I was on this about watch Jordan Davis in this game, because one of the strength coaches for us was talking about they hoped Jordan, this was the second year, hoped Jordan could play because he destroyed that center the year before when he played a little bit. And, at that point, Jordan had some kind of injury, He said, Coach, if Jordan plays, this game not even going to be fair. He said, that
All right, it was a blowout.
guy can't even snap the ball. He's so afraid of it.
Yeah, I mentioned Odell earlier. That's the guy that just kind of terrified me.
Yeah, he was tough. There's a lot of them over here. You know, I mean, you talk about a guy that could hit you. We had some guys in the secondary come up heat-seeking missiles. I mean, at Oklahoma, we had Ricky Dixon, and we had 3 guys on the made the College Football Hall of Fame: Ricky Dixon, Brian Bosworth, and Tony Casillas. Tony was similar.
Tony, yeah.
He played for Cowboys. He was similar to Elvin Bethea and Carter. I mean, just jack you up and don't want him. I mean, he was serious. I mean, Switzer used to say, tell the defensive coaches if Tony was going to scrimmage, he wasn't coming. Because he gets so mad because offense couldn't do anything. Tony just destroy you. And, you know, he's over the center. And about that.
Yeah,
good player.
There's no point scrimmaging.
Right. He can't get the dang snap. So
somebody actually on the board had a good comment. And this is not one that would have come to mind right off the bat. And no offense against quarterbacks, Coach. I love you. But when I think toughest players, I don't always think quarterbacks. But they mentioned Aaron Murray, the beating that he took at Auburn. You know?
He did. He was tough.
And then remember when he tore his ACL in that game, he stayed in for like 4 more plays and played through a torn ACL. And I'm like, yeah, I'd forgotten about the fact that he just got clocked over and over again, got the shit beat out of him. Excuse my language.
Yeah, he did. He
stayed
did.
in there.
It's tough.
He's such a pretty boy. You just don't see it.
Toughness is both sides of the ledger there. You know, you got to do it. And I remember Flip Phillips, who played for us, who ended up playing for a lot for Tampa, a defensive back. I mean, he would come up and knock you back as a safety. He was very physical.
That's the guys that could take a beating are also on there. Coach, another topic that's going crazy on the DawgVent. We're on 4 pages, 121 comments, 4,000 views. And it's kind of a geographical question because this is only really applies to the.
They don't make it hard on geography. I'm not great on that.
Yeah, well, all of the country, you got to name it. But.
I'm good on history, but geography.
Well, I'm just saying this is not a question for those.
Where some island is or something.
Where's French Polynesia, Coach? Now this one is people wanted to know the overrated and underrated restaurants in Athens. And so I saw this thread and I'm like, that'll be like 5 or 10 responses. 121 responses later, we're still arguing this, Coach.
Okay.
So you are a connoisseur, and I won't put you on the spot to pick anybody that's overrated, but I need some of your underrated places.
There's no question I'm the Duncan Hines of coaches because you know how Duncan Hines used to give those ratings. You probably don't remember. That was back in the 70s, but look it up. Duncan Hines used to give ratings on food places. So I'll rate them for you.
Okay. Give us some of the underrated spots in town.
I mean, give me what they're talking about, and I'll rate them. But I don't want to leave some of my friends out.
Oh no, I got you. Okay. Here's one that it took me a minute to remember it because you and I have been there a couple times. Right on Atlanta Highway is Food for the Soul. It is an older building. It looks closed half the time, but it's a soul food place. Give me your thoughts on that one. Overrated or underrated?
Well, the only people that would underrate that are the tea sippers that just go out to fine dining. It's not that, but if you want some good home cooked food that make your mouth water and cook it like your mama used to, I mean, I would say it's as good as there is around here. And I mean, my biggest decision, and there's what I'm going to get. I don't like to get that all you can eat thing because I don't feel very good for a couple of days if I do that. But, you know, you get a meat and 2 or 3 fried chicken, I mean, pork chops, whatever, and then it's got great vegetables, cornbread. I mean, you've been in there with me. I would say that's underrated to the max. I mean,
that was my point.
you just can't. It's probably not a visual you want to. I mean, they don't have a lot of outside. I mean, going in there, you don't think it's going to be that great, but
You're not sure where to
I
park.
always kind of measure what I think of a restaurant that I don't know. When I go in there and see a bunch of fat people in there, I know it's a pretty good chance it's pretty good. And there's some people in there that are large, but there's also some people our size and all. But that place, I mean, I could eat there 2 or 3 times a week. I just can't have a hard time finding a parking place.
Yeah. I look for 2 things when I go into a restaurant is, fat cooks, and is there anybody in a reflective vest? Because if you can find where the guys that drive the big trucks and do the
right
construction workers, where are the construction workers, firemen, policemen eating? That's going to tell you where the good food is. Overrated, rated properly, or underrated, Coach? Last resort.
I think last resort, there's a situation there. The only thing that makes me mad about that is getting in there. It's hard to get. You have to wait, and I'm in the position in my stage of life that every minute counts to me, and I don't like to sit around. That's the only thing. But my kids swear by it. I mean, any of my kids come here, that's where they want to go, and I like it. Good service, a little loud sometimes for me, but and I'm old. I mean, when I say it's a little loud, but I don't want to hear what Johnny B. Good's talking about 3 tables over from me. You know what I mean? I just but I would say that's the only thing that's not great about it, that being able to get in there and then it's a little loud, but food's good, service good. I'd say it's definitely underrated.
Marker 7.
Hey, Marker 7 is making Bulldog break his chain. I'm telling you, I'm a big proponent of that. I've never been there where it wasn't good. It's got to be good. Kirby takes recruits there. And told you about the story when Chris Felica and I were sitting in there on a Friday, and Muschamp brought 2 defensive backs in, and the parents, all they want to do is meet Chris, the Bear Felica. And so Muschamp said, "Hey, he's here every Friday," but he wasn't. But it was. I think Marker 7 has got some really good fresh fish once in a while. If you want, it always has it every day. But if you want to just get fish of the day, and of course, I'm a great proponent like you are of oysters. They got good oysters, and Marker 7 to me, anybody that doesn't rate that good probably hasn't eaten there much.
Brett's Casual Dining.
Brett's, very good place. It's easy to get to. Got good parking. I hate that they discontinued that steak they had on the menu. I like that, but I guess a lot of people weren't getting it. But it's a very flexible menu, good service, clean, good family place, good place to take your family. I'd say that, again, that's underrated. Hey, if I think one's overrated, I'm going to tell you, but so far, I haven't.
I've been picking pretty good ones. De Palma's.
Oh, make my house. I mean, I would eat De Palma's every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I mean, and I don't know how I hit it, but, they got that lasagna of the day. And when they have their regular lasagna, I mean, I can't get enough of that. And those breadsticks, I mean, wow.
I got into an argument with one of our longtime readers, Accounting Dog. He's a great supporter of our site. I mentioned one of the underrated places, although it wasn't in Athens, Coach. It was out in Watkinsville. And people were talking about Garisol's out there, and I mentioned Rachel's. I like Rachel's. I love the, you pick your meat, you pick your sides. It's very old-fashioned. And he said, nope, definitely overrated because he didn't like their mashed potatoes. Who orders mashed potatoes when you got green beans and Crowder peas and all their stuff?
Maybe so, but that would be a couple of days of mourning for me if Rachel's went down, because anybody my age, you like to get places that got good vegetables and stuff. And of course, she worked for me, so I'm a little bit biased. But
Wait, she did?
yeah, she used to be a cook over in the training table.
I did not know that.
And her son just graduated from Georgia Tech, and she got another daughter that's going over there. Both of them have done well, but I took a guy in there never been before the other day, and he was looking for the menu, and then I showed him where it's on the board up there and all. So the guy started taking his order. He said, "I want a hamburger." I said, "Wait just a minute." I said, "Look, if you're gonna come in here, you're not gonna get a hamburger. I mean,
you're gonna get the damn pork chop.
Let me get something for you. I mean, you can get a hamburger down the street." And he was happy that I did that. That was like
country fried steak with that white gravy, Coach.
Oh yeah, or the country chicken with white gravy. But I like their fish there too. But when the varsity was open here, now they got one out in Watkinsville. But my brother-in-law and sister, Mary's sister, were here, and so both the Donna and girls there, they like those hot dogs. So I said, "Okay, what does everybody want?" And he said he wanted a chicken salad sandwich from Varsity. I said, "Good God!" I mean, I said, "I don't even believe that," but they had. Have you ever heard anybody ordering that? I mean, I don't really. I tell you, if I got up this morning and thought we were going to be talking about food on this, I mean, I hope some people are listening. I mean,
after it's over, I'm gonna do the Uber Eats. We're gonna hook you up, Coach, because now I'm starving. And I would say
Uber Eats is good. Uber, DoorDash, Grub. I like all those. They're good.
I'm in LaGrange today, and there's some good food down here, but I'm missing Athens really hard today. I'm going to switch gears. We need to talk about.
Was there anybody that you overrated?
For me, I didn't really have any because I'm so appreciative when I go out to a restaurant. I have such a low bar, Coach, that it's not hard to put me. On there's a chicken salad place on Millage Avenue, not on Millage, on Prince Avenue.
Oh yeah, Marty's at midday. Everyone raved about it. I went and had it. It was good, but I was like, I did not. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what all you want, but got a good location. It's great for a hospital there, and friendly atmosphere. Give you good variety, but we got some good Chinese and good Japanese places there too.
Hey, Peking. I'm with you. I'm not big on the buffets, but I remember going with my mother and father-in-law to the Peking buffet after church on Sundays.
Yeah,
and that was an event. And it wasn't Charlie Williams Pinecrest Lodge, but it was
Golden Dragon's good up there at Beechwood. Good takeout, and of course you and I have been to the Japanese place up here. Good up there at 5 Points. I know John Parker.
I thought the Pine was underrated. So
yeah, my son-in-law went to a big guy, played pro football, plus 300, and he was at this Chinese buffet, and they really didn't have. I think they were out of something. He said, "We need to get some more wonton chicken," and she was saying he needed to get on some kind of whatever you call that stuff that when they get on the walking track, he said, "Oh, you need Nordic track." He said, you don't need anymore. You need to get on Nordic track.
That's cold-blooded.
He didn't like that too much.
I can imagine. You don't need anything. You don't need anything else, fat boy.
Yeah, just get on Nordic track.
Hey, Coach, we got a couple questions about on the board about biggest concern of the year. And then there's a Gunner Stockton question that I'm going to ask you. But before we do that, I need to mention our friends over at Athens Ford because they have a huge service special going on right now. If you want to get the works, which is a really comprehensive thing that you go out there and get done, I'm a big proponent of it because I like, especially if I'm about to drive somewhere, drive on vacation, driving to Indianapolis to take a whole bunch of staffers up there to interview all these players. It's a lot easier to drive up than fly up when you're bringing 4 or 5 guys. If you want to get the works, it's you can get a synthetic oil blend, oil change with the filter change, tire rotation, pressure check, brake inspection, vehicle checkup, fluid top off, battery test, filter check, and they check the belts and hoses and all that stuff. Right now, you can get it through July 31st for $49.95. It's just a phenomenal deal. The last time I tried to get my oil changed, these guys came up, started talking about the price of it, and I'm like, they wanted $100.
Really?
I'm like, get the hell out of here. I'll go home and do it myself. But sometimes it's convenient to let somebody else do it. So that was kind of my thought. But for $49 to get all that stuff done at Athens Ford, you just can't beat it. Right now, they still have a ton of great specials on their new vehicles. I saw something the other day. I need to find the ad, but they said that their employee pricing deal was still going on. So you need to check with Athens Ford to see if that's still going on because that employee pricing is insane. Also want to mention our friends at myperfectfranchise.net. If you there's things slow down in the summer for a lot of folks. Now's a good time when you take your next vacation. Put in a call, put in a text, put in an email to Andy Ludecky at myperfectfranchise.net. Tell him that you're thinking about maybe changing jobs, changing careers. He will ask you a bunch of questions that will help you narrow down what you might want to do. It's just a plethora, an amalgamation, a giant heaping pile of free information catered to you, addressing your concerns. So check out Andy Ludecky and myperfectfranchise.net. You'll be very happy you did so. When you're in your new job, you'll be thrilled. Speaking of, Coach, real quick, good news about Paul Meharry, our buddy, my 9-year intern. I hired him as an intern. He basically stayed an intern for 9 years. He just got his general contracting license. So Mainstay Construction, they were doing roofs for the longest time. He just got his general contractor license. So shout out to Paul Meharry. Proud
Good
of him.
for Paul. Glad to hear it.
And we need to get him to come up and take your damn trees down.
Yeah, I'm okay. I finally. I don't want to talk about it. So.
Of course, I promised before we went to that break to ask you a question about Gunner Stockton. The question came up on the board. Could we compare Gunner Stockton to Baker Mayfield? And that was from Dunwoody Dan. He says, maybe, or am I just nuts even asking?
Similar in a lot of ways. Tough, good leaders, really good arm, underrated arm, very good at recognizing defenses. I would say, of course, he's got to do a lot more to have the kind of career that Baker had, but and it's still having. But I would say that's a good comparison.
Okay, I took it a different way because I just thought that the way Baker, he's escapable a word. I mean, he was so twitchy and so elusive.
He's probably more elusive than Gunner, but we haven't seen enough of Gunner to, say whether he is or isn't. We saw him play in high school and he was a good runner, but Baker just always had a chip on his shoulder. Coming in there, didn't get a scholarship to Texas Tech. Then he transferred to OU and walk on there, and then ended up winning the Heisman Trophy. But he's moved around in the pros. Looks like he's found a home there at Tampa Bay. But I think the fact that just normal of a great program, there's always a little bit of a situation where people are just up in the air because it's unproven, and they have a tendency to overanalyze a guy. I mean, he's got some flaws. Every quarterback does, but he's definitely in the area code of what Kirby and Bobo want. So he just got to go out and do it. I mean, we've seen that happen throughout history, where a guy is not well known and then becomes a household name. Look at Sellers there at South Carolina last year. I mean, he's gone from being unknown to being – I saw where some people had him projected as a second quarterback taken next year. I mean, that guy is a dominant quarterback. Like, he could be like Cam Newton type
guy. I was thinking when you mentioned people who, when they don't know who you are to a household name, that was Stetson Bennett. I mean, they're like, well, we're playing a walk-on. Guy wins you 2 titles. And that he was, to me, was very Baker Mayfield-ish later on when he first started. I mean,
but the thing,
whole year of people saying this guy can't win a big game. And then when he walks off the field after beating the crap out of TCU, I mean, he's
here's the thing that you did a good job of defending Stetson, and I kind of prodded you along because I didn't have the platform to do it like you did. But there was just a general tendency, and I wouldn't say that. I would say some people certainly support him, but there was a lot of people. How are you going to win with a walk-on quarterback? And what's Georgia doing with all these 4- and 5-star players? And why isn't so-and-so playing and all that? Which is normal. That's good. It's good conversation. But I just think the fact that it was incredulous for everybody to think that he could be the quarterback and then for him to achieve what he was able to do was kind of the biggest paradox in the history of Georgia football, I would think.
I'm right there with you. And I get it, which brings us to the next question. And this one, so I mentioned all these threads, Coach. These have 4 or 5 pages of comments and arguments and good points, bad points, back and forth. That's just kind of what we were doing today, is kind of going over the fun topics on the DawgVent. Say, hey, it's the middle of June, but there's still, I mean, you get 17,000 views on a message board. That's on a day. The place is hopping. This one is, I think, going to be a big thread that started this morning from UGA fan 618. And he says, I'm not what someone would normally call a Disney dog. And the Disney dogs it's an old slang term that we had on the board for people who were just, everything's great,
Walt Disney dog, eh?
Yeah, so this guy, he's telling you right off the bat, he's a little pessimistic, and he's a little worried about he wants to know what the biggest concern is for the team. He's a little worried about the quarterback situation. And I thought the first response, because he only saw one game. He saw the Sugar Bowl. And to your point where you just said, we need to see more from Gunner Stockton. We haven't seen a whole lot yet. We've seen one game. And that reminded me, Jake Fromm's first game against the same team, his first start was against Notre Dame, and he struggled in that game. And Gunner didn't have a whole lot of help in his game. And then, but by the end, I mean, Jake Fromm is winning all sorts of things. So,
right,
I'm thinking, like you said, it is a giant unknown with Gunner Stockton. But is that your biggest concern? We'll end the show with this, Coach. What is your biggest concern? Because there's so many different areas you're pretty optimistic on, but you're also a realist.
Right. I think that's, you need to temper your enthusiasm a lot of time with realism. I mean, the reality is this, even though you're excited and all that. I think the schedule is daunting, no question about it.
Schedule.
And you could say what you want to about home games, but it's still, 3 powerhouse teams coming in here. And Kentucky's a physical team that always has seemed to play us better, maybe up there than they do here, but they got us right after Alabama. So I'm just not sure to raise any alarms or also put out the parade for the national championship. But I feel like that there's enough of a core here with our team, with the leadership and the experience of the better players and just the wanting to get out there and be a Georgia Bulldog of the younger guys, and that it's really going to create a tremendous team atmosphere and about proving themselves and and I always said when you're talking to a team, a couple things. Are you coachable? That means that whatever the coach says, you're not going to have doubt about it. You're going to believe in it, what they're telling you, and you're going to go beyond everything to make it work. And the other thing is, can you concentrate? Are you a good listener? Do you take what they say and make sure that you're taking out everywhere? So I think these kids are really dialed into Kirby, the staff, and they're kind of got a kind of burden on their shoulders of, hey, they didn't win a national championship. They didn't even play for it the year before. So we've been 2 years without that, and created a monster around here where that's the expectancy level. So I want to just hit the point of there's a fine line between being over, too giving yourself too much credit and the realism that you're not as good as everybody wants you to be, and then of people really not thinking you're quite good enough to do it, that you got to prove it. I think there's a real fine line for that, but athletically, we have the athletes, and the overwhelming thing for me is our kicking game should be superior. I'm not talking about average. Should be superior with our two kickers. We got our snapper back. We've increased our return stuff back with Zachariah Branch coming in here. So our kicking game is going to be as good as anybody we play, better than most. And then defensively, I just feel like that the defensive front is going to really be good enough because of the forcing unit behind them to really make a lot of plays. And the secondary's got some voids to fill, but really good at corner where you got people like Robinson trying to make the starting team. We got good volume there. And then offensively, just really increased our ability to make big plays with the portal, and then Kobe Young coming back should help us. I think our squad roster, by that I mean our 44, that means that too deep on both sides of the ball, match up with anybody we play. So it's just going to be a case of avoiding bad, I sound like a coach. You got to avoid losing, and, that happens. You start making mistakes and all, but we've been a very limited team on penalties and turnovers. We have got to get more turnovers from a defensive perspective, and we've got to get off the field. But I feel as optimistic about this year as I did last year, and I thought we were going to be good last year. I didn't know if we were going to be good enough, but the year before, I told you that we would be just as good as the year before, but we didn't end up playing that great against Alabama in a championship game, and didn't.
You're right. They went undefeated in the regular season and lost one game.
Right. So comparatively, if I had to give it a James Brown rating, which everybody knows that watches his shows, I feel good. You know what I mean? When James Brown feels good, he feels really good. So I'm up to
There's that on the Duncan Hines rating.
Yeah, I'm up to James Brown. I feel good. And I'm not ready to play the Pointer Sisters. I'm so excited. So I'm in between feeling good and being so excited. But I think these two first games will really help us get our feet on the board and know what we're doing. And after that, got to go play the Vols. Got a new quarterback, but we've been good against them.
That is a tough place to play, Coach.
I'd say we're stronger than Ajax.
There we go. All right, so that I will take some of that and put it on the in that same thread on the DawgVent. Like we asked Coach the same question. Start here at the 42-minute mark, and here's your answer, folks. So
yeah, let them have it. Let them have it, and be sure and tell Kirby so he can get on my ass.
This will be behind the paywall at UGASports.
He doesn't do that, but
I know.
I was glad to see Andrew Smart hit a home run on Saturday or Sunday night. I saw that he hit he jacked one over Centerville fence.
He cranked that one out.
Yeah.
Hell of an athlete, Andrew. Pretty good basketball player, too, from what I understand.
Oh, he's good football, basketball. But, and then Weston, his son, had a good year in tennis, and Julia doing good and everything. So, I mean, he got a great family. Mary Beth is the assistant head coach. Boy, she runs the show.
She was a hell of an athlete, too. So they get it. They get it from both sides.
I would say this as a final answer here from Jeopardy here, that I just feel like when you look at what you got a chance to do and experience, knowing you got a head coach like Kirby Smart and you got a program at the level of ours where the expectancy level is to win every game, enjoy it. I mean, you can sit around and worry about stuff, which, I mean, that's normal, but it should be a heck of a year. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable games. And then I know that's one thing that I didn't do enough when I was on that run at Marshall and at Oklahoma, you know, where we 12, 13 wins a year going there. You know, I was always worried about the next game enough, but you need to enjoy it.
I hope somebody gets that message to Kirby because he seems only focused on the next thing.
Yeah, I enjoyed it at Georgia, but I wish we could have won a little more. But really like the people here, and that's one of the reasons I stayed.
Hey, let's end the show with this, Coach. Shout out to the women's track team.
Yeah, shout out to Josh Brooks on hiring that girl. I mean, that was a good lick taking her from Southern Cal, and I think the track team's going to continue to progress. And this new track they got out at the across from the softball and soccer complex, it's going to be tremendous. So, you know, we won 3 when you take the equestrian, but we won the women's tennis and both of the coaches, Drake Bernstein and the track coach, were hired by Josh. So, shout out to him for seeing that in both of these coaches.
Yeah, Smith Gilbert, phenomenal coach. And I remember when Costa left, and I was like, dude, you're getting the track team to this perfect that you're really building them up. And he couldn't wait on the facility to be built, so he left. And I thought, man, what a blow. How is Josh going to recover from this? He went out and hired the best coach in America, and she won him a national titles.
Right. Good job.
And it was a dominating performance. I know folks don't always follow track, but when you win by that larger margin, it's like a 65-3 ass kicking.
Yeah, it was a TCU game.
Yeah, it was. They blew the doors off the entire nation. I've not haven't seen anything like that in a long time. Anyway, that's all we're gonna have for this week's show. We will. It's gonna be a while before we're back. We're taking a break. Like I said, I will be out of the country for a little while. Next week we're in Indianapolis covering the.
Just stay tuned. Maybe in July, Dane and I'll venture out without Roddy one week and let us know if you want us to do a show. We might do it, but hard to have a show without the invaluable controller.
I hit start. That's about all I add to the show, Coach. All right, folks. We'll talk to you next week. Y'all take care. We'll see you then. Or not next week, in a while.